How you doing, everyone? Happy Monday. Let's get ready for this Mental Health Live. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put down the topic in the comment section so we all know what we're talking about, of course, what we're discussing. So today's topic, we're talking about when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower itself. A lot of times we blame ourselves for the experiences, or we blame other people, right? When naturally it just couldn't be an environment. Just like a flower, our mental health can be affected by the environment that we live in. This environment includes both external and internal factors. We're going to go over the external, internal factors, and we're going to focus on some solutions. I don't want to focus too much on negative. I want to give everyone watching a way out. I don't want to generalize. The majority of us do go through negative situations that are hindered by our environment. Hey, how you doing? So let me get a few points in. Now, external things that can affect our environment. How you doing, Mom? Let me add you right now. All right, so I'm gonna add. What's up? I'm gonna add my mother. Oh, so she's not able to join. Give me 1 second, y'all. There we go. Gotta get my mom on this. She's a licensed mental health clinician, so she knows what she's talking about. I just don't know why it's not. How you doing, Mama?
What's on? Hey.
How's everything? Happy
Good,
Monday.
and you?
The past few Mondays you've been happy. I like that.
Listen, got no choice.
God is good, huh?
All the time,
So,
all the time, and on time, and on time.
So, Mama, of course. So today's topic is when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower itself. One thing I was saying is that just like a flower, our mental health can be affected by the environment we live in, and these factors can both be external and internal, right? So what I wanted to ask you was a few viewpoints, right, in terms of how our environment can affect us, both externally and internally.
Well, let me start by saying, or just kind of prefacing this too. It's not, I mean, not.
Probably got some bad signal. Oh, no, don't do that now. Don't do that now. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me take her off, and then I'm going to put her back on. All the days, right? All the days for it to be glitchy. Okay, while she figures that out, right? I'm going to get back to the topic. So now, these external and internal factors, right? We did mention how the external factors are things like stress, lack of support, difficult circumstances. Now, all these things accumulated can, of course, hinder our ability to thrive. Now, the internal factors. A lot of things that people do, right? Not generalizing, but we're all human. Negative self-talk. Sometimes we could have unrealistic expectations or still be hurt from past experiences. Now, all these things, whether they're external or internal, do have a way of affecting our mental health. Now, I don't want to just focus on the negative. We can address many things in our lives, especially our environment, things that are in our close quarters, right? We can identify them and address them accordingly. Now, focusing on the solutions, the good news is just like just like a flower can be nurtured or a fruit tree can be nurtured, so can our mental health. When that flower doesn't bloom, right? When that fruit tree doesn't bear fruit, you do not blame the plant itself, the tree itself. You blame or you acknowledge the fact that the environment itself wasn't nourishing the seed to grow, right? Another thing I would say, hold up, y'all, a second. I don't know why it's not. Hmm. She probably going through some technical difficulties. So, now with that said, I could say today we're going to discuss ways to identify areas in our environment that might need some attention, right? And we're also going to explore some strategies to cultivate a more supportive and flourishing inner world and mental health. Now, tips for fostering a positive environment. Now, we didn't mention external stressors. Um, we didn't mention how people, right, unresolved past experiences, unrealistic expectations can affect us. Now, let's just kind of dial it down a little bit and focus more on the external. Now, one of the ways that we can adjust the external factors, right, are identifying stressors, things that trigger us, things that we know we shouldn't be around, but of course, because of our environment, we just can't help it. You know? Another thing is we need to create healthy coping mechanisms. Sometimes when we go through things, we may have a tendency of just reacting, right? Not really processing, not dealing with the solution, but reacting towards it. And of course, building a healthier coping mechanisms such as meditation, prayer, giving yourself that time away from that stressor that's triggering you. Those are some ways you can actually cope, right? It's not always about reacting and pushing back. Sometimes you flow. Another way of adjusting our external environment, the external factors, are building a strong support system of friends, families, and therapists. Now, some of us, and I'm not going to project, I will say myself as well, some of us have a hard time reaching out for people for help or reaching out to people for help. Some of us, me, um, we try to burden ourselves in a sense where we want all that weight on our own shoulders. We want to manage it ourselves. We want to deal with it ourselves. But reaching out for a hand, a supportive hand, is not bad at all, especially if it's a therapist. Sometimes we can't express to our family, our friends at the time what we're going through. And that can be the environment or just the person itself. But one of the ways you can adjust that would be therapy. Um, Sometimes when I talk to people about therapy, it's not properly received because we all have our own conception of what therapy is. Um, for me, it's just pointing you down the right path. We don't have all the answers. And getting an unbiased opinion does help us in our situation. Now, continuing with the external, practicing self care, things like getting enough sleep, eating healthier, working out, or just enjoying activities that you enjoy, right? Doing these things, of course, build a positive external factors, right? Not too much internal, but external, right? Wait 1 second, y'all. Now, the internal. Boom. Now, internal. One of the main things is practicing negative self-talk, right? We, not projecting, me, right, have a tendency of talking bad about ourselves, using that tough love to push us forward. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it resonates with the person saying it or doing it. But of course, the tongue is powerful, right? We don't want to just put anything out there and not realizing that it will be received by the person putting it out there, right? Oh, I'm an idiot, or I should have did this, I should have done that. Let's work on that on that negative self-talk. Let's let's work on talking to ourselves nicely. Sometimes we have more of a tendency to talk well to other people, but negative to ourselves. So let's fix that. Now, we spoke about the challenging your negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Now, let's talk about setting realistic and achievable goals. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me see if I can ask my mama to join. Still saying that she has a problem joining. Hmm. Let me see if it'll let her join. Hmm. Okay, so the realistic and achievable goals to build self confidence. Me as a trainer, right? I do not give my clients an activity or an exercise that they cannot complete. The reason for is because when we set unrealistic goals or unachievable goals, and we do not reach those unachievable goals, it does affect our hope for the better. It does affect our current confidence because in your mind, why can't I do this? Right? I should be able to fly. I should be able to lift up a car. Right? Now these negative and unachievable goals have a tendency of holding us back. So I want us to be realistic. I want us to make step one, step two, step three, step four. Literally lay out those plans, those goals that you know are achievable, right? Not just I'm gonna fly in the sky, but just goals that you know, okay, I can complete this. I can complete that. And these are literally just steps forward. Those small achievable forward for you to do better, right? Now, we spoke about the achievable goals. We spoke about the challenging negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Now this. You want to practice mindfulness and self-compassion to address past hurt. Just recently in this live, I had mentioned that, the negative self-talk. Things like I should have known better. Why did I not trust that person? Why did I trust that person? You gotta understand as well, like we're human beings. We're always gonna be challenged with trials and tribulations. Give yourself that grace. Understand that you've been hurt. Build proper coping mechanisms around that past experience, that past hurt, and move forward and set achievable goals. Right? There's a lot of external and internal forces that's going to point us in the negative direction. It's literally the mental health, the healthy mind training that's going to point us in the right direction. And most times it's not going to be what everyone else says. This mental health thing, it's very subjective. It's it's not a one size fit all kind of thing. But we can set up rules and steps and ways that we can actually build our own proper mental health. If that makes sense. Now, what I want to do is I want us to I want us to think back about time. I want us to think back about two times that our negative, our environment was negative, and our internal thoughts were negative. And there's always a trigger. There's always something that happens, right? It isn't just boom. It's it's life. You could drop a pencil and you're triggered, whatever it is. Think about the trigger. You're gonna build coping mechanisms around those stressors, around those slow down, justice. Around those stressors, around those triggers, we're gonna build proper coping mechanisms around them. All right. We're gonna challenge the negative self-talk with positive affirmations. All right. We're not bad people. Let's hopefully we're not bad people, but let's do better. Let's point ourselves in the right direction. So, proper coping mechanisms, challenging negative self-talk with positive affirmations, right? Pushing away the negative people in our life that shouldn't be there. That's one of the main things too. Sometimes you hang out with people every day, and you may not realize this person is not for my elevation. This person was here for this chapter of my life, and they may not be in the next one, right? Step by step. All right, so pushing the negative people out your life, and taking in the supportive ones, right? Moving forward from there, like we know, but we don't want to do in a sense where we may know a person, place, or thing is not for our benefit, but because we're so comfortable with said person, place, or thing, we go along with it. Sometimes we may not know, but acknowledging the stressors, acknowledging the triggers, acknowledging the little small things that you may have missed in the past can allow you to build and set achievable milestones against that, right? It allows you to build coping mechanisms against that. But it all starts with acknowledging what's there that should not be there, right? Um, Sorry about the connection today, everyone. I don't know what's going on. My mom was literally texting me saying that she can't join the live for some reason. But no worries. I still wanted everyone to get some value from this conversation. Um, if it's possible, what I'm definitely gonna try to do is, of course, get her on here and add her 2 cents into this because, of course, she's a licensed mental health clinician. She knows what she's talking about. She always gives me value. I mean, even not on mental health lives, like on a day-to-day basis, I call her for everything. Everything. My mental's not good. What do I do? And most times she doesn't even tell me what to do, right? Most times she just points me in the right direction, as a good therapist does, or should. Yeah, everybody. So please, like, answer down in the comments. Continue sending me DMs about mental health topics. I love helping. All right, it's not you may see my page, and on my page, it's a lot of physical fitness, physical health. But a part of balancing the body is acknowledging the mental health and the spiritual one. So for this week, right, I want us to acknowledge the external factors and the internal factors. And from there, we'll move forward. All right. We're all flowers. And if you don't want to be a flower, be a fruit tree. But at the end of the day, understand that we're seeds. And in order for this seed to grow, we need to be nourished. The external factors and the internal factors does affect how we flourish. You may not like it because you're comfortable where you're at, but acknowledge the stressors, acknowledge the triggers, the negative people, the negative self-talk. It all starts from acknowledging. Once you realize something, you move forward from there. All right. Thank you everyone for coming. Jerome, Jalen, Jara, everyone, Mario, Hillary. Thank you everyone for coming and supporting. Hopefully next Monday we'll have better signal. Right, I'm assuming, but it was still good though. It was still good. Mama calling me, so let me get to that. Everyone, please focus on those external and internal factors. Factors. All right. Thank you for coming to this Mental Health Live. Same time next week. Let's get it.